Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Saturday Night Live, Rabbit Hole Saturday night. I'm starting a little late because we had a video we're playing, teaching on, it was a lecture on the subduction of Silesia and the Farallon plate underneath Pacific Northwest. And we just finished with that. And during that same time, we did have a big quake in Texas, 5.3. And there's a funny little thing that happens. And so we're going to continue this evening with the Drake Passage. The Drake Passage, if you remember, we had a pretty good size earthquake there. What was it, yesterday or the day before?
Yesterday.
Yeah. And kind of took everybody like, what? And I'm not seeing. Okay, here's the latest. Earthquakes are happening today in that same area. The largest was a 5 that happened today. Looking at 10 earthquakes down by the Drake Passage today. It's still rocking and rolling. Expecting that because of a big giant, kaboom that took place. So, shoot, howdy, a 7.4. Then they downgraded to a 7.4. Wasn't it much higher than that?
No, I thought it was 7.4, and then they downgraded it to 7.3 now, I think.
Well, USGS has it as a 7.4.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Just say it's like the mid 7.
Mid 7s, eh? Yeah. Station details would suggest that's a 6.8. That'd be a 7.4. 6.7, 7.3, 7.4, 7.1, 7. That's 7.868. So 7.54. Sorry. 7.5 on that one. Yeah, so I'm saying it is a 7.4. I think they got this one right. So
well, and it's on what they call the Shackleton fracture zone.
Shackleton fracture zone. What do we know about that?
Well, I looked up a bunch of studies on it today, so
I'm sure you did.
It can go as high as 7.7 down there, but they don't have any 7s in since they've been recording it. Down there.
Right, so we covered that under the last rabbit hole. Yeah, well, it wasn't a rabbit hole; it was a breaking news report.
Yeah, it was breaking news, but it was kind of a rabbit hole.
All right. So this is the location of the big quake, 7.4. Now you can see it's kind of migrated south. We had a 6.4 out there. That's the largest secondary quake. Several 5s. Now, having a mid 7, I suspect we should have 20 to 45s by the time it's all said and done. But it looks like it's already bleeding into 7. 4s.
And they already have a wiki on it too, so it's pretty detailed already.
All right, well, bring her up, baby.
Yeah, I just gotta copy it here.
Alrighty.
Because they go crazy with the information.
7.7 and a 7.1. It was probably what I would call as an echo, Susan. I don't know where my thing is making those noises, but it might be Canucks. It's all 5 this afternoon. Yes, ma'am. I don't know why.
There, put her in.
All righty, thank you. Click this on, share this tab instead. So the Drake Passage earthquake was a seismic event that occurred on May 2nd, 2025 at about 8:58 local time. The earthquake registered a magnitude 7.4 on the moment magnitude scale and a 7.5 on the Richter scale. Its epicenter was located 218 kilometers south of Puerto Williams, Chile, at a depth of 10 kilometers. This event was caused by the interaction between the Scotia and Antarctic tectonic plates and is considered the strongest earthquake recorded in the southernmost regions of Chile and Argentina since the 1949 Tierra del Fuego earthquake.
Yeah, that one was on land, but it was big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Due to the earthquake's magnitude and shallow depth, the Hydrographic and Oceanographic Service of the Chilean Navy, SHOA, issued a tsunami warning for the Magallanes and the Chilean Antarctic region. This was later downgraded to the precautionary advisory in mainland Chile, and the tsunami risk of Antarctica was all but canceled. So it was canceled altogether.
Yeah.
The tectonic setting is the region between the southern tip of South America and Antarctic Peninsula is dominated by the Drake Passage, and to its east, the Scotia Sea. The sea corresponds with the Scotia Plate, a tectonic microplate situated between Antarctica and South American plates. The plate lies above the ocean floor that rises from approximately 3,800 meters in the west and about 2,300 meters in the east. The region has experienced several moderate to strong earthquakes in recent decades, including the events of 2003, 13, 18, and 21. Despite their magnitude and shallow depth, previous events in the area did not result in a significant damage or tsunami. So we can go into all the other details of this particular quake, but it's to give you a little background. This is where the epicenter is. And boing, boing, boing. And then sharing this tab instead. This is what the USGS has on it. Definitely a sizable earthquake. It was a level 9 in a feeling shake map. Estimated intensity stayed around its area. There was a tsunami, but it was canceled. Finite fault. I don't know what it is. Strike along a distance. So strike equals 310, dip equals 39. We analyzed 33 teleseismic bands of P waves from 24 broadband SH waveforms and 46 long wave surface or long period surface waveforms, selected based on data quality and azimuthal distribution. Waveforms are the first converted to displacement by removing the instrument's responses and are then used to constrain the slip history using finite fault inverse algorithm by G in O2. We began modeling using hypocenter matching and adjusted slightly from the initial NEIC solution, and that's the location of it, and the fault plane defined using either the rapid W phase moment tensor for near real-time solutions or the GCMT moment tensor for historic solutions. This result is based on the moment tensor nodal plane and the seismic release button based upon the plane, the 7.4, using 1D crustal model interloped from the crust 2.0 and from 2000. So this is the slip right here. So it looks like much of the earthquake happened here, but all this activity is over here off to the left.
Yeah, it's going down
right here on this
Shackleton fracture zone thing.
Yeah.
So I have the wiki for that, so I'll give you that.
All right, cool.
And it's got cool pictures. So.
Yeah, seeing that, you can see here this fracture zone right through here. South American plate boundaries up here. This is the Antarctic plate boundary down here. This is the microplate that we're talking about, filled with volcanoes here on this end, due to probably a subduction zone on that end, sliding underneath. And then this swarm that took place right here. Interesting that there was some islands even here. We would also, say that this is the bottom of what we lovingly term the Walker Lane, which is down the Occidental Plain all the way down to the tip of Antarctica here. And so that movement is intriguing. We do have an earthquake here that happened yesterday at 4.4.
And it says, if you read all the papers on the Shackleton fracture zone and all that, they said at one point there it was above water, so you could walk from South America to Antarctica.
Wow. Wow.
If you read the latest papers on it. So, to see it said in there that it was lower at the western end where it is, and then deeper at the other end of Scotia Plate.
Well, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you learned about the Shackleton fracture zone? See if I can share this tab instead.
Once you bring it up, I'll just read it.
Yeah, it's
not
here.
that long, but it gives good info. So
yeah, I got a good picture here. Here's the Pacific Plate. Here's the Southern Ocean. Here's the Atlantic. Shackleton is right here. This earthquake happened right about there.
Yeah. So I'm just going to read it. The Shackleton fracture zone is an undersea fracture zone, oceanic ridge, and fault located in the Drake Passage at the separation between the Scotia Plate and the Antarctic Plate. It extends between 59 degrees and 40 degrees south latitude and between 56 degrees 30 and 61 degrees west longitude, and runs in a northwest to southeast direction.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah, from the South American continental shelf to the South Shetland Islands, which is where we had all the swarms back there in 20 and 21. South Shetland Islands. Chile claims the area as part of its outer continental shelf boundary. The name, recognized by the Advisory Committee on Underwater Features since June 1987, is named after the British polar explorer Ernest Shackleton, who lived from 1874 to 1922. And another thing that's interesting about this is where the next section talks about it. Natural delimitation between the Pacific and South Atlantic Oceans. Scientists in Chile, I'm going to read it. Other countries postulated that the boundary between the southeastern Pacific Ocean and the southwestern Atlantic Ocean was not the Cape Horn meridian, but rather the Shackleton fracture zone mid-oceanic ridge, and a submarine orographic chain which links the Tierra del Fuego archipelago with the Antarctic continent. It also considers the conventional border of the Southern Ocean at the 60 degree south parallel. And then it talks about the researchers that did all this stuff and named it and all that. And then in 2019, the scientific journal Geology's News published the SFZ separates tectonic plates and oceans to the east, the Scotia Plate, and to the west, the Antarctic Plate, which includes the former Phoenix Plate, which is one of the ancient plates like Farallon, and to the east of the Pacific Ocean, and to the west, the Atlantic Ocean. So they think it's kind of cool that that's where like everything all meets together.
Tierra del Fuego, I think, is a little island, is it not?
Yeah, it's one of the little places. I think it's actually on the Argentine side.
Okay.
Because the farther you go over there, right at the tip, part of it's Argentina, and then the part to the west is, I think, Tierra del Fuego is on the Argentinian side. Because when they said that quake, whatever it was, the seismo was at the Argentinian side.
Okay, it's a province. It's just part of the province, a state of Argentina.
Yeah.
So I was thinking it was a volcanic island.
No. Well, I think it's like a whole.
Yeah, it's a whole big state. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a archipelago, so it's got a whole bunch of stuff.
Right. I have it on screen. Yeah. So it looks good.
Yeah.
And you're so this quake that we had today, or not today, but
and like if you look up all the studies on it, they say that they think quakes there can go as high as 7.7. But
that's really strong, right?
Yeah. But this is the first one that they know of since they've been keeping track. That's been over 7, like right on the Shackleton.
Well, they're really calling it. USGS is calling it pretty crazy. It's on the shelf, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like had a thrusting motion and everything. I think different people that have been talking about it today, that's what they said. So it could have made a tsunami, but
right. It probably just because it more slid rather than uplifted. It's got a funky ball. Wait, that's different. Oh, the Texas one is the Texas one is different than this one. The Moment tensor ball, share this. Here's the Moment tensor ball, right? And what can we surmise out of the Moment tensor ball? Let me see if I can. No, I can't pull that up that quick. I have to go here. And on one of these. So let me see. Share the screen. Screen. Window. There we go. Now, this, I don't know if I minimize it and zoom it down. And try to get a closer look at the screens I'm sharing. Share on screen. Okay, right here, this is what we're looking at. And then right there. So it's kind of like reverse thrust. Is your sister okay?
Yeah, she probably fell asleep and woke up, and so she's having her issues because she's watching TV. So she wakes up and like her neck's all stiff, her knees all hurt.
Oh, I thought she was saying help.
No.
So it's very much like a transpressional. See how it slid? Or reverse thrust, one diving down below the other. So that's, I mean, I don't know how we call this one. It's pretty close to this one. All right, share it on town, right like this. It's not a normal extension. It's not a strike slip. Spreading would be transtensional. Or compression. This is a compressional issue, uplift. We didn't have a tsunami. So reverse thrust?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw different people talking about it today, and they said it was like reverse thrust.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. All right. So that would suggest, if we share this tab, this side up and over or this side up and over. we can see that where the earthquake was, it's only about 700 feet, but out here it's 11,000 feet. There's a trench out there. Yeah. And that's the one you're talking about, this, not the SCOTUS, but the other one. The turn these things off. Grid lines, hide the grid lines. There we go. This Shackleton
fracture zone.
Yeah. You can see a nice line that comes up through the bottom of this and emanates all the way through. So whatever this one, here's the plate boundary, but you can see USGS has it looking at the plate boundary is up in here. This one down here is another plate boundary. So this is the, that other plate, the microplate here we're talking about.
Yeah, Scotia plate.
So interesting here. So back to here and then share this tab. There's a path through here, a path up here. Yeah. So this quake is well off of that. Let me see how many miles. Well, it is within those miles, so in my mind.
Yeah.
So the bottom, the two plates are bouncing off. The microplate, the Tierra del Fuego province, and Chile, the Parque Nacional Alberto de Augustina. And we do have a volcano right up in here, Monte Berni. But also, we do have a bunch of volcanoes down here. Here's Cook Island.
A bunch of little islands that go down along right too.
Yeah, there's Cook Island, Bristol Island, and you can see that little fall on Mount Belinda, right? Definitely a volcano. And then this little bugger up in here, Saunders Island. That's another volcano. I don't know what it's called, but it's a volcano. There's another one here. There's a Candleman's Island. See the nice little volcano there. I'm setting these up so that I can see where the volcanoes are really quickly on the map. There's a Vindication Island. These are very cold places to live. That's why nobody lives there. Shamrock Hill. I don't know what it is.
Well, the penguins like it down there anyway.
Yeah. Visco Island. Sure, it's a volcano too. And there's another one right up here, Zablowski Island. Can't see it because of all the clouds. Look at that right there, though. The caldera there. Follows around all the way to South Georgia Islands. Now, there is a base on the South Georgia Island. I don't remember where. But,
yeah, because it's all the South Sandwich Islands and South Georgia Islands are at the top.
Right. Prince Ole Harbor. Yeah, and they visit these islands quite regularly.
It's kind of like how the Caribbean plate
Here's
works,
the Falklands,
where it has all the volcanic islands on the eastern side of
Right.
the Scotia plate. Like all the volcanic islands are on the eastern side of the
right?
Caribbean plate.
I always saw Falkland Islands here with this big crack down the middle as the same as what is it? Uh, not England, but up here in Scotland. See the nice rip right down the middle from Inverness and down.
Yeah,
I've been there.
same idea.
Yep, Aviemore. I've been there. And of course, down here in Edinburgh, we flew to Glasgow and then we went to Edinburgh, I think. Yep, and London. Didn't care for London. Sorry, but I digress. So that area down there has a lot of volcanics, and there's some also on the Antarctic side. Down here, I thought too. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, on the western side of Antarctica.
Yeah, Milker Base, Edda Island. But we have seen very, very large quakes down this region. I remember was back in 2020, was it? Something like that down here.
Yeah, there's a big swarm down at South Shetland Islands back in 2021.
Yeah.
So that would be like a little bit south of down at the bottom of the Shackleton.
Yeah, exactly. Shackleton kind of comes across here and ends up down here, and then this area here, in this region here, and then the South Georgias, and then Falklands. So that's kind of your region where these 7.4 hit, and also the 5s that have been going on.
So basically, in 2021 down there, we had that area going crazy with swarms just a bit below it. So now we have these big quakes coming up.
Right. And you know, was it 21 that Sandwich Islands had the 8.1?
Yeah, that was all around the same time.
Yeah, all around.
South Shetland Islands all around then too.
It's hard for us to put things in perspective when we're I don't know how to say it. When we live in a microwave world, we don't look at things at tectonically the speed of tectonic plates. Yeah. So you get an 8 and the ground shifts, and you're talking, 20 feet to 200 to 600 to 800, 900 feet crack that, ripped. Pretty crazy. And especially with an 8.1 that happened.
Yeah, the British put an Antarctic station on the South Shetland Islands in the early 1960s. So right after the big chili quake. So they've had a seismo down there to record stuff. So they know about swarms down there since 1962 or 63, whenever they set up the Antarctic station. And then the Chileans took it over later. So the Chileans use it now.
I think that's the base Higgins base. I think it's general.
Yeah, whatever the name of it. It's in the South Shetland Islands. So I can actually look up swarms because I studied it back then. Because I wanted to find out if South Shetland swarms before you get big quakes in South America, like 8s, and it always does.
All right.
Going back to 1960, early 60s, they've kept track of stuff there with the seismo. So now my next thing, which I'm trying to prove, is that the Shackleton goes nuts before you get 8s in South America, and it moves up.
Right. Interesting that Texas has a 5.4 today. In addition, I'm looking at 7 days out. I'm going to go 1 day out. Today, also a 4.6 in Ecuador. Peru had a 4.4. Chile, northern Chile, had a 4.2. So southern Chile had a 4.4. And a 4.4 southeast of Chile, or Argentina, where our quake happened. So 4 power went all the way up to you get until Central America, and then USGS has zilch on Mexico. I'm going to look up Mexico real quick here. Oh, I did Canada. Mexico. All right. I wanted to show you this. So I'm looking at, okay, share this tab instead. There you go. So you can see these are all the quakes to date. This is the swarm down here. Got a clicker here, 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 right? Then out here, which has been going on for a while, 2 point whatever. Also, Missouri, 2.4. I would like to see if there's any data that would suggest early 1800s, late 1700s down in the Drake Passage, if anything happened down there. Also,
Well, you have to dig hard to find that.
yeah, I'd also like to see if the Caribbean was acting up. You know, I think we were going to look up 76.
Yeah, we did 76 in the thing yesterday.
Oh yeah.
But we're going to do 60 tonight.
All right, we're doing 1960 then. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Let me turn the air on here. Getting hot in this room, baby.
Now I'm going to put the thing in that I used to get these ones that I'm looking at.
All right, that's fine.
Yesterday,
but
we never.
You can see now. There's nothing in Mexico, and looking at Mexico's deal, there is quakes in Mexico, several threes that happened all yesterday. 3-2, 3-3, 3-4, 3-2, 3-0, 3-3, 3-2, 3-4, and 3-4. All yesterday. Even a 3-8 that happened yesterday. A couple of small twos. But as you see, several quakes up the coast. USGS doesn't report these, only if they're larger quakes. Also, we got some near Hermosillo, in the central part of and a 4 up in there that happened yesterday. Also, the Ensenada crack, or San Felipe crack as I call it, Rodolfo Sanchez, 3.3. So Mexico is quaking, although U.S. doesn't cover it. Going to the latest quakes and looking at just north of Mexico, zooming in, you can see here Southern Cal, right? Misha, come back to terrain. You can see the San Andreas Fault. You can see the San Jacinto Fault. And you can see the Elsinore Fault. And you see the one quake in Baja there, just north of the border, small ones. So small activity pushing through the San Jacinto. Yeah, I mean, really small, barely registering of 1. And then, of course, up in the Lato Creek, which is the bottom of Cajon Pass. And then we see some activity moving on out toward Ridgecrest and further out into Nevada in Beatty. Nothing up here in Inyo, but we do have some stuff up our Walker River Basin. There's a little town over here called Walker, but here's a Walker River, and there's Pyramid Lake, and there's Walker Lake. This is the interior side of the Occidental that moves up, or mountain range, basically. So you see activity up here. You see activity crossing down. See activity crossing over. Nothing you see down here, but you see it in New Mexico. Look. What about up in Canada? Look up in Canada, because U.S. doesn't report there either. On the west, we're looking at the orange ones. That happened just a couple of days ago, just on Vancouver Island. Nothing new, no. Except for way up here, and that happened yesterday. Actually, no, a couple of days ago, a week ago. And then on the East Coast, you don't see a whole lot, just a few little dingers. So can't really call anything there either. But what we're trying to do is
it's coming though.
bring things together for you so you can see. And this is the Drake Passage earthquake. Now, the Texas earthquake that just took place a few minutes ago, 5.4. Share this tab instead. Yeah, there's a super less chance of anything being 5 and above. It'd be a 7% chance. 4 and above is 29%, and 3 would be a 65% chance over the next week. But this is an interesting look. What kind of moment tensor is that?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Seen one like that before.
I have, and it doesn't make sense to me here. So,
It's like
and it just, I don't know. I don't know how to call this one.
it's going the opposite way of what you think.
Yeah, so here's the fault plane here, or here. Pressures is in the middle, tensions on the outside, so it's like maybe an upwelling. I don't know, man. How do you call that one? Yeah, this is the fault plane right there. Eden, what's Eden say here? It's like stoking a fire, inflating from below. That's what I was kind of thinking too. Right behind you, sweet dreams. Okay, especially when it's on the south hemisphere. That was so close to the South Pole, it rattled the cauldron. Okay. Kanucky put in that link.
Because that's the one I'm using to get the biggest quakes in order down there.
Yeah.
Drake Passage.
Yeah.
So it should have them there.
Right. The largest quakes in Drake was 7.4.
Which is yesterday's.
Yeah.
And then the next one after that is the one we looked up in 76. And then the one after that is the aftershock yesterday. And then the one after that is the 1961 we have to look up.
65 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
6.4.
Yeah, so click on that, it gives you the date.
It just showed me a bottom of 20. February 8, 1960. USGS page. We'll go to that page. Undefined. There we go. Yeah, 6.4.
Yeah. So that was February 8th, 1960. So that's the date we're starting with to go into the 1960.
Okay, where's the wikis?
So now we need the wiki.
Wiki. Let me bring up the wiki. Dun, 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 dun.
So here we are. We're going into it now. It's going to be exciting. Because 1960 is pretty important. So,
yes, it is. I know why, and I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag yet. You're going to have to listen.
And actually, when you look up that year, there's actually two down there.
Yeah.
A 6.4 and a 6. All in February.
All right, here we go. 1960. This is a list of the 60 earthquakes. Okay.
So just start in January.
Starting in January, Chile popped with a 6.2. Peru went 7.5 and a 7.1. Pretty crazy. A little bit separation, but big. In February, nothing happened. In March, Mexico,
February,
Gulf of California.
February is when those Drake Passage ones happen, but they're not on there because
they're not.
Yeah, that's why you have to look at other data, right?
Right.
Put it all together. So
Gulf of Cali had a 6.1 in March. Peru popped with a 6.1. Colombia had a 6.1. Wow. Japan went ape shit with Honshu. 8, 6, 7, 6. Big giant quakes. And then Jalisco, 1960 had a 6. And then Panama,
Yeah,
South Panama.
right now in Jalisco, I just saw an article about that. There's massive fissures opening down there. So
Yeah. Got some in Arizona too. I'm not finished looking it up yet.
Yeah.
Panama had a 6.3. Gulf of Cali had another 6. Not good. It looks like April was quiet for the West or the East. In May, Chile popped with an 8.1. Boom. The 1960 Concepcion earthquake, which was large foreshocks in 1960. Valdivia earthquake. At least one person died in this event. 101 were injured. I believe this is the quake that went all the way down the coast. A 6.6, 7.1, 6.8, 7.8, and an 8. And then the 9.5. Kablooey.
Yeah. So that was May.
And then a 6.5 and a 6.9, a 6.0, a 6.7, a 6.9. Man.
And
1960s.
Yeah, Drake Passage was acting up February of that year.
All right.
Yeah. So
Northern Cal had a 6. Chile, another 7.8 in June. And yeah, it's not going to stop. Chile, 7.0, 6.9 in June. July. South of Haida Gwaii, 6.5. Wow.
Yeah. So you had
Veracruz, Mexico.
Acting up.
Yeah, Veracruz, Mexico, 6.9 to a 7. That's that bottom part of Mexico where I said it's kind of breaking. Looks like it's breaking off. Kamchatka popped with 6.5 and a 7. Japan, Honshu, another 6.8. August. If Honshu's jumping and you see Mexico's jumping and you see Peru's jumping, get away from the coast. Rat Island, 6.5 in August. Chile, another 6.7.
Offshore in Northern California in June. Did you miss that one?
I got it.
Which is like what it did in 76. Same thing.
In June, yeah, off to Northern Cal, 6.0, yeah. And the Canadian came in July, and Japan had another 6.8 in Honshu. I don't want to ever go to Japan. Rat Islands popped with a 6.5. Chile, a 6.7. Guatemala, 6.
Remember, we had Guatemala going off.
September. And all these, you got, other locations that are popping around the world. I'm just skipping them because I don't want to draw attention to them too much. Colombia, 6.3. And if you remember, it wasn't the Congo. What was going on in South Africa? We had a shoot load of 5s here a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Northern Marianas, yeah. October. Yeah. October, the Adrena Islands had a 6.5. Honshu, a 6.2 again. North Korea, 6.8. Wow. Honshu again, 6.1. Chile, 6.2, 6.8. My God. Can you imagine? You get this 9 and your whole world came apart.
Yeah, because it's all.
Then you're getting a bunch of 7s, and then you're getting a bunch of 6s. It's like, don't even live out in the house, Then Japan's volcano islands pop with a 6.9. Chile again in November popped with a 7.4. Jeez. Here's Greece. 6.0. United States, Fox Islands, 6.8. Then Peru pops with a 7.6. That happens. People have to watch. Chile popped all the way up and down. And Peru too. 7.6.
Well, right now, I think Chile and Peru are in serious trouble
Mhm.
based on what it's done in the past. But then I look back a bunch of other years too, besides 60.
And in December, Chile in the Antofagasta region, 7.368. Costa Rica does a 6.2. Chile comes back with Tarapaca with a 6.1. And that's the end of that year. 1960 was not a good year. I don't know, we've touched this several times, but not very often you get such a huge magnitude quake that was what led up to it. Big giant quakes that pushed it. Boom, 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 then pow. My God. A 9.5, a 6.5, a 6.9, a 6.0, 6.7, a 6.9, an 8.1, a 7 or 6.6, 7.1, 6.8, 7.8, and then the 9.5. I mean, oh my God. It went straight down the list. That's a total rip, everybody. That's what they're afraid of in the Pacific Northwest. That's what I believe it'll happen again. I don't believe it'll be a one big giant rock. Because you're talking a shoot little miles. But
so now I want you to go to the next one in the list there on the earthquake track page.
Right.
The one that says 6 years ago.
All right.
Do you see it on there? It's right under the one we just did.
Hold on, I get there.
It's 6.39 6 years ago.
6.3, 6 years ago. Yeah.
Great passage. Monday, October 29th, 2018.
Yeah.
So
Why does that sound familiar?
Yeah, that's at the end of 2018. That's the same year we had the crazy deep quake in Fiji, and it was within a year of Ridgecrest. And you had Peru 8, the start in May 2000.
Right. It was an 8.80 or an 8.1.
Yeah, 8.0.
And then a month or 2 or 3 later.
Every one that I looked up in this list is always before there's a big quake in South America that comes up. Every single date.
Correct. And that's the connection, everybody. That's why us having a which we just had another 3.2, and they call it White City in West Texas. West Texas bounces significantly when Costa Rica bounces, Panama bounces, Central America bounces. I mean, it shakes like no tomorrow in West Texas. And I think I can go to Alamax.
The next one after that, 15 years ago. All right, click on that one.
All right, hold on a second.
It says 15 years ago, 6.3.
Yeah, I see it.
Sunday, January 17th, 2010. This was 1 month before the Chile 8.8 and a couple months before Baja 7.2.
Oh, yeah.
It's magic, I'm telling you.
Yeah, again. See, what we do often here is we'll say, okay, this quake's happened. Okay, what did we learn from it? Well, quakes are repetitive. Well, they're not. They don't happen in an empty box. There's pressure that moves up, and if you watch the pressure moving up, you get to start to see how the flow works, and hence the title of this show here. The connection with Drake Passage and Texas, pretty significant.
And, I would say right now, based upon if this is what it does every time, and we got a 7.4 and a 6.4 aftershock, Chile and Peru are in big trouble right now. I just don't know how. Usually, from what I've studied, the bigger it is, the faster it comes up. So
didn't we have just a month or so ago, or maybe 2, of Japan, Honshu, Japan as well?
Yeah, because that would have been. Well, we're looking at 2010 right now, but that would have been within a year. That would have been a little bit more would have been the megaquake in Japan.
All right.
Because see what it's doing. It's going big at the bottom, and because it's the Pacific Plate and the Ring of Fire, it's adjusting. See, on all the sides. And it kind of did the same thing in the 1960, because 1964 you had the Alaska quake. So see, it went
What? May
the
3rd.
19, the
Get
1960
this. I'm seeing Ciudad Juarez,
from
Mexico.
bottom to top.
Well, I get this saying, okay, near Mexico, 5.4 1 hour ago. That was the Texas one. So why is this people calling it in Mexico? Who are these? Earthquakelist.org.
Well, it depends on which seismo they're coordinating it from, right? It's like when they say White City, New Mexico.
Right. I hate that. It's not even close to one city.
I don't care about that. I look at the exact place that it is.
Yeah, me too.
Like where the original reports was, it said they were listing it out of Old Christian Place, which is like a little town or village or
aren't you?
Because I get a better idea from that, because they usually give like the closest place to it first, and then that's what I go to look up. And then they'll change it when they downgrade it. They'll say, oh, now it's from White City, New Mexico. So that's how they do it. They pick a different seismo. That's all that they're doing.
Right. I'm looking specific so that I think Kat put a link in there. She asked us to listen to it.
Because on my app, it started out on my app 5.5, then it was 5.9, then it was 5.4, then it was 5.
Yeah, Earth Consortium here.
Now it's like whatever it is now, 5.3 or 5.4.
Right. Here's the waveform that happened in Texas, everybody. Be careful with your ears. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. That's pretty serious. Bam! Something exploded. That's a 5.4, an hour and 52 minutes in Texas.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like underland. There was a 4 in that range too. Use control, okay. Oops. Lots of earthquakes. In the interactive map, let me share this tab instead. There you go. Nice northwest to southeast line, but also a line that's crisscrossing it. Northeast to southwest. We've also kind of expressed the idea that down here south of Hermosillo in Mexico, where a lot happens, is connected to West Texas. Periodically, we'll see West Texas, Midland, Odessa pops. I mean, this quake today, again, I'm going to tell you, it's one of the largest earthquakes in Texas history at 5.4.
Yeah.
And so you got to treat it with like, hey, what's going on? You know,
she's all coming across.
Right. You heard of an intriguing. We'll kind of close out with this. It's already 8:43 with our last discussion. You kind of saw a guy's show today, and he mentioned something that is astrological, and And not without saying the guy's name.
Yeah, what he's saying right now, there's a big spike on the Schumann resonance today. And he says it does those spikes based upon his research that he's doing however many of the last few years. Whenever it makes those spikes on the Schumann resonance, he said a big earthquake usually happens within so many days, like up to a week. He said after he sees those spikes on the Schumann. So we'll see if he's correct or not. I haven't watched the whole video. I only watched the first 10 minutes. He did like an hour.
It's an hour show. Yeah.
And he's going to go in and show like when it had the spikes before and what happened. But I haven't watched that yet. Going back as long as he's been keeping track.
Well, due to copyright, that's why we're not doing it. And if you feel you want to know more about it, you can shoot us a text over at JSL.
So there's people Live that are trying to figure all this stuff out and see if there's correlations between other things,
right,
and the earthquakes. So there's all sorts of people doing different stuff to try and figure out how this is all working. So that's basically what's going on. So I'm trying to watch as many different ones as I can and see if there's anything that correlates one with the other, to see if you can actually figure all this stuff out, what's happening.
Right. Today,
there's planetary alignment people, and then there's the coronal hole people, and then there's the sunspot people. It just depends on which one you're watching.
And right now, the solar wind is up to 628. Proton density is under 1. We've had a C1 and a C2 flare. There is a huge sunspot, probably about 8 or 9 times the size of Earth, 4079. It's in the northern hemisphere, moving across. And it's kicking out solar winds that are gusting to 700 kilometers a second, or 1.6 million miles an hour. G1 class geomagnetic storm, I think happened. If we're not, we're in it. No, we're out of it now. It happened.
That was from all the
yesterday.
The big one that's turned around, but then there's a bunch of other little smaller ones.
Right. So the big coronal hole is not there anymore. It's just one big sunspot that's huge. It's 140,000 kilometers across.
I don't think it'll come around again until the middle of this month.
Right. 2 weeks. Generally it takes about 2 weeks. KP is up in the mid 4s right now. There's no significant coronal hole out there, really. Class M chance is at 35. The Class X is at 5. So it's really, really, really low, the sun to, zap us. Of course, we had the G1. G1s aren't that terrible, but, we're watching for commonalities. Sangay volcano popped to 21,000 a day. Dacono did 9,000. That's there in Halmahera. White Island erupted. It continues to 3,000 feet. That's down there at the mouth of New Zealand. Little Tolo, 7,000 feet. Little Toby didn't, but Little Tolo did. So right there in the middle of the Indonesia, south east of Bali, 2 volcanoes, small volcanoes that are popping off pretty regularly. And Ibu is doing 7,000 as well over there in Halmahera. Merapi, central Sumatra, 12,000. It's a little small pop. That's all that happened today. And then yesterday, which is also the May 3rd. Let's see if there's anything at Pomp.
And a Sulawesi quake today knocked out power there too.
Okay, yeah, Sulawesi. All right, 10,000 out of Poas, which is Costa Rica volcano. So not a whole lot, but it's still active. Semeru, which is pretty active on Java, Southern Java. Ibu and Dacono still doing about 7,000. Home Reef doing about 4,000. It's a small little island that's coming up. Right.
And Bali had our issues too.
Right.
For another reason.
And Little Toby doing 8,000 at out of 56 one. So Reventador doing 15 out of 11. White Island, 3,000 yesterday. Sengay, 22,000. Dacono, 9,000. Rappi did 12,000. All these are at the ceiling levels. So Rappi is like, 8,000, I think it is. Yeah, 9,400 feet going to 12,000. So those aren't too big. Fuego, sporadic emissions. He's not in the news a whole lot lately, but Santa Guido is, and they're the same height. But again, Fire Mountain is not dead. 10,000 feet out of Poas, which is in Costa Rica, central Costa Rica. Ibu and Dacono both popping. 4,600 is Ibu and 3,600 is Dacono, respectively, real close to those. Home Reef, 4,000. So that volcano there, Home Reef, is in the Tonga Strait. So Strait of Islands. So that's interesting too. You have White Island down in the south and Home Reef in the north that have been active. White Island again to 3,000. I think if that thing was like Hunga Tonga Happy Eye, if that thing ever blew, holy smokes, the tsunami would be like in 3 seconds or something on a poor northern island of New Zealand. It would be devastating. Dacono 9,000. Little Tolo 6,000. Simiru normal. All right. I think nothing really big has happened volcanically speaking. We already talked about how many earthquakes we've had today. What else? Well, it is what it is. And well,
at the news now to see if there's anything happening.
Yeah, anything happening in the news?
I don't see anything.
Other than Trump being Pope? It's gone viral. I don't understand why it went viral, but somebody put the Pope clothing on Trump and posted it on X. Somebody's trolling it, all these wackadoodles.
I don't see anything else right now. Looking down through the stuff. I don't see any crazy, exciting breaking news.
Trump's proposing $163 billion cut from the federal budget. All right, that's not a whole lot. Sovereignty wins Kentucky Derby. Outdueled 3-1. Favorite. Journalism down the stretch to win. Right on. Sovereignty. Interesting. Was that a mare or was that a dude? I don't know. A gelding. Umberto Rispoli moved him outside. He's Sovereignty hooked up in the 8th pole before Sovereignty and Jockey Jr. Alvarado pulled away. The winner covered a mile and a quarter in 2 minutes and 2 seconds. 2 1/3. Huh? All right. Well, there you go. The Kentucky Derby.
I don't see anything too exciting happening right
now. Again, I'm seeing another red alert on off the coast of. You have to watch out for some of these YouTubers. They're good people. Sometimes they just want the money. Watch out. Something's happening on Vancouver Island. A red alert is issued. Subduction zone under Vancouver. Surges in activity. Yeah, I didn't see anything on the news or on the seismos. Did you?
No.
Yeah.
Well, there probably will be big quake up there, but it'll take like almost a year before it gets up there. Based upon the stuff we just looked at for Drake Passage acting up. Because usually Vancouver Island to Haida Gwaii gets one every time after Drake Passage acts up.
Yeah.
So I expect it to do that again within a year. But may happen faster because the quake was bigger. Because those other ones we were looking at were 6.4s and 6.3s down there, and this was 7.4 with an aftershock of 6.4.
The rip of CSZ usually unzips from North Cali up. All right.
But if it did it like what it did before 1700, we should get 1.7 on the East Coast, and we should get the Southern San Andreas to go 7.8 or higher.
Well, I did hear about I thought it was kind of funny. I did hear somebody played a video of them asking what would happen in California in 2025. It said August with a date, and it said a 9.6. I went, what?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would have to be like the San Andreas and Cascadia going together, which they don't have any evidence of that yet.
Correct.
They think Cascadia itself can go below 9 just by itself. But there is evidence that North San Andreas and responds to Southern Cascadia. And Goldfinger, as far as I know from the last stuff I checked what he was doing, he was down off Long Beach, that area, trying to figure out the turbidites down there and how they relate to the Southern San Andreas. But I haven't seen them release any new things about it because they want to do the turbidites for 10,000 years for the Southern San Andreas going off.
Oh.
Because they've already done them for Cascadia and they did them for the Northern San Andreas.
Well, our buddy Isaac Finbosen, he's going to do a drone, an ROV drone, which is underwater below the surface tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
9 a.m. If I'm up, I'll be playing it because I want to see what he does down there.
And they think that the Southern San Andreas went off in 1690, but they've gone back farther than that too and put numbers. But 1690 was the last time, so that would have been 10 years before Cascadia.
Mm-hmm.
And then New Madrid went off near Memphis. Susan's not up to hear this, but she's already.
Yeah, believe me, I know.
It had a quake December 25th, 1699. So that was exactly 1 month before Cascadia, which was January 26, 1700.
Location, Izu Islands, Japan region, class, moderate, magnitude, 5.0, depth, 3 kilometers, 9 minutes ago.
Yeah, so now we got Izu Islands going off.
Isuzu, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. It did. It went all the way up. Hokkaido, yep. Big Bonin Islands. Well, we got it coast off of Japan. They say it's mid under Tokyo, but
Yeah. Well, we had the Myanmar one. It's usually within 2 months of a high 7. In Myanmar, you get a big quake in Japan. So
yeah, watching Honshu to see if it's the same plug-in with these other quakes for Chile. Well, Well, I think we've talked in circles enough.
Yep. So be
Um,
watching in a lot of places because it's going to get busy.
Yeah, it's no end to all this, is there? I appreciate you, Canuck, coming on and spending time with us, sharing your perspective. I really enjoy our discussions, and I just want to acknowledge you in front of everybody, saying I appreciate you and love you like a brother. And we'll be talking probably tomorrow because I think something might happen tomorrow. And
Well, something happens pretty much every day. Like
it sure does. Yeah. How's your boys doing? Your baseball boys?
oh, they lost today. They had a 3-0 lead and in the ninth and blew it because the bullpen's dead because every game they can't score any runs. So the bullpen is starting to die already 1 month in. So we'll see what happens.
That's terrible. My Angels won, but that's not saying a whole lot.
But they signed 2 more pitchers today as free agents because they're desperate.
You did? We
Yeah.
got the Blue Jays May 6th and May 7th and May 8th. So that'll be interesting.
So they signed Jose Urena and Spencer Turnbull today
Wow.
because they need more number 5 starters because they don't get any.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell are.
Spencer Turnbull used to pitch for Oakland a few years back.
I've heard the name. Yeah.
He pitched for Philly last year before he got hurt. And Urania has pitched all over the place. I
like Ron Washington as a manager, but I don't know, Artie Mariner.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But now Trout's out again, so I don't know how long that's
Yeah,
for.
it's his hip. Yeah.
So. And Tristan Cassis blew his knee out or his ankle or something for the Red Sox, so he's out for weeks.
They put Rengifo back in. Wow.
Yeah, had some collision at first base yesterday. And so did J Ram too.
Who?
Boston playing Cleveland.
Who?
Jose Ramirez for Cleveland. J Ram
Oh,
was
I know.
running down first base and got beamed with the throw in the back of his head and fell down and messed his ankle.
I got beamed.
Yeah. Pretty soon everybody's going to be injured. There won't be anybody playing
All right.
at the rate it's going right now.
See what the standings are here.
The Dodgers have a 10-man pitching staff and they're going through all them.
The Angels are 13 and 19. They're 7 games back already. In the Central, Detroit's up in first, and we beat them already, so that sucks for them.
Yeah.
In
York on
the
there,
East, 19 and 14 is New York. Boston, fifth go.
Yeah, well,
You're 1 game behind. You're in third place.
yeah, Bjorken is saying in there that about the Cascadia stuff right now and Goldfinger stuff.
Yeah.
It's from all the stuff I've looked at so far, it's usually the
Yeah.
San Andreas will go before Cascadia goes really big.
I agree with you. It'll be the whole West Coast, tell you the truth. But hey,
Yeah.
all the way up to Vancouver. Bjorken, that video showed tendency of the San Andreas to go before the Cascadia. I agree, Bjorken. It did.
And in the 1600s, there was a 7+ Montreal, 1663. New Hampshire had a
upgraded to
6-point.
5.2 from 5.1.
We're upgrading
Location: Izu Islands, Japan region. Class: moderate. Depth:
Mhm.
23 kilometers. 14 minutes ago.
And there's a 6.5 in New Hampshire in 1638.
Well,
So the East Coast should get multiple 7s and 6s before Cascadia goes. But you could already say we already had our 7 because East Coast off Newfoundland a 7.2 and 1929. So
Yeah.
and there's been other sixes.
We'll
Charlotte
see.
Warren.
We'll see. Well, I know my brother's listening, and he's out there in Nebraska making his way to the studio here, out here in Arizona. Love you, brother. Be safe, and don't get none on you.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna turn in. It's 9:00 tonight. Got a big day tomorrow, and appreciate you, Canuck. I really do, brother. Thanks
Okay.
for all your input. Thank you, everybody. Out there. Good night. Say
Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.